Hello, welcome to another Asian Cup AFC 2019 group profile video. This is Group E, and happy Friday to everybody as well. The penultimate group for this tournament. I'm going through all the teams in it, giving sort of a preview, some stats to throw your way. It's an interesting group. We have Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Lebanon, and North Korea. So, let's jump right into it. There's no introduction needed. This is the fifth video for the series. Let's get into it. So, Saudi Arabia is the seeded team. Their nickname is the Green Falcons. Their record in 2018 includes 5 wins, 4 draws, and 8 losses. Those 5 wins came against Moldova, Algeria, Greece, Egypt in the World Cup, and Yemen. The 4 draws came against Ukraine, Bolivia, Iraq, and Jordan, and the 8 losses to Iraq, Belgium, Italy, Peru, Germany, Russia in the World Cup, Uruguay in the World Cup, and Brazil. They are managed by Juan Antonio Pizzi. They are a Spanish-Argentine who took Chile to the Copa America title in 2016, Copa America Centenario. Prior managerial success winning a continental tournament with another national team. I believe he could become the first manager ever in history to win a major regional tournament with 2 different national teams from 2 different continents. I'm not sure that's been done before, but that would be quite an incredible feat for Mr. Pizzi. Previous performances in the Asian Cup for Saudi Arabia include 3 titles in 1984, 1988, and 1996, as well as 3 runners-up medals in 1992, 2000, and 2007. They've had group stage exits in 2004 and 2011 and 2015. So in each of the last 2 editions, Saudi Arabia has gone out at the first hurdle. However, Saudi Arabia has the distinction of premiering in the most number of Asian Cup finals of any country in Asia. I believe they've reached the finals 7 times in total, and 5 of those times were in a row between 1984 and 2000. That's really impressive. 84, 88, 2000, 84, 88, 92, 96, and 2000. Their last final was in 2007, where they were defeated surprisingly by Iraq. Star players include Fahad Al-Muwallad, Salim Al-Dawsari, and Mohammed Al-Salawi. Several of these players you saw this summer in Russia in the World Cup. Saudi Arabia's squad is almost exclusively home-based in the Saudi League, playing for clubs like Al-Hilal and Al-Ittihad. A reasonable finish for Saudi Arabia would be to get to the semifinals, a realistic expectation semifinals. A realistic goal would be to win it because they have had prior experience and pedigree in winning this tournament. Now, they failed to progress past the first round in the last 2 editions, but just given their high esteem and their record in the AFC Asian Cup, they are the second most successful national team of all time in the Asian region, only behind Japan. So, they'll be hoping to return to prominence from the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, and I think they can do it. They should be favored to come on top of this group. They should come on top of this group. Moving on to Qatar, Al-Anabi, the Maroons, going on their flag and their jerseys. So they have 5 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss in 2018. Those wins came against Iraq, China, Palestine, Ecuador, and Switzerland. So a win against South American and European opposition. Excellent for Qatar. The 2 draws came against Syria and Iceland. Good results. And 1 loss to Uzbekistan, as I mentioned. They're coached by Spaniard manager Feliz Sanchez-Bas, whose prior experience includes coaching the Qatar under-20s and under-23s. So you have someone in charge that understands the current state of Qatari youth football. It could play to their advantage. That remains to be seen. Previous performances in the AFC Asian Cup include 2 quarterfinal finishes in 2004 and on home soil in 2011, and group stage finishes between 1980 to 1982. So that's 4 consecutive tournaments, 80, 84, 88, 92, where Qatar finished in the group stages, among them including 88, which was on home soil for Qatar. And they also finished in the group stages in 2007 and in the most recent Asian Cup in 2015 in Australia. It was a very disappointing tournament for Qatar. I remember that. They finished on bottom of their group with 0 points. Star players for Qatar include Sebastian Saria, Boulem Kuki, and Hassan Al-Haidos. A lot of dual internationals playing for Qatar. They've been, I guess, criticized for outsourcing players and bringing some in. It's a small country, though, so they're trying to make do with what they can. I don't necessarily see a big problem with it. Like I said, many of them are dual nationals to begin with. So it's not like it's a club team. But anyway, they don't really have much prominence in this tournament, guys, with just the 2 last 8 finishes that I mentioned. But the victories over Ecuador and Switzerland and the draws against Iceland and Syria really could indicate an uptick in form for Qatar, as these were their most recent results, and it's really good to start hitting your peak just before a major tournament begins. On paper, they should come in second in this group. Again, I don't do predictions in these profile vids. Predictions will come the day before the Asian Cup starts through a live stream. But they would fancy their chances to come through this, and if they put in a really strong performance, they might even finish on top of this group. But they are really the wild card of Group B. They can finish anywhere between first and last. Possibly the only team in this group that can finish anywhere between first and last. A reasonable expectation for Qatar: get out of the group, possibly go on to the quarterfinals, get through the round of 16 opponent. A realistic expectation, I think, maybe because it is an Asian Cup hosted on West Asian soil, they can perhaps get to the semifinals, but a goal for now should just be to get out of the group stages again for the first time since 2011. Moving on to the next team, we have Lebanon. Their nickname are the Cedars, in reference to the tree that is, you can see on their flag, that I have so poorly drawn. Their record in 2018 includes 2 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses. Wins against Malaysia and Jordan. That's a good result against Jordan. 2 draws against Oman and Uzbekistan. Promising. And the 2 losses coming against Kuwait and Australia. They're managed by Miodrag Radulovic, who is a Montenegrin manager from Montenegro, who has prior experience coaching the several clubs throughout Uzbekistan in the Uzbeki League. And he coached the Serbia and Montenegro youth under-19 team between 2005 and 2006. And he was also a scout for youth prospects coming through the ranks for the Montenegro national team a few years ago. There's not much else to say about Lebanon because this is only their second ever Asian Cup. Their only prior participation being on home soil when they hosted in 2000, and that was a group stage exit. So this will be their second ever appearance in the tournament. Star players include Hassan Maltouk, let me see here, Rabin Ataya, I can't even read my own fucking handwriting. Rabin Ataya and Hassan Al-Chaito. Let's see. Hassan Ali Chaito, yes. It's funny because I can read Arab names in Arabic a lot better than I can when they're written down in English, because it's just different. It's very different. Anyway, a reasonable goal, or rather a reasonable expectation for Lebanon would, because of the fact they don't have very much pedigree in a tournament like this, it would be to just not get wiped out. to come through this group. So a reasonable expectation would be a round of 16 finish. A reasonable goal, same thing, about a round of 16 finish. They really would just want to better their result from 2000 because there's not much prior history to go on, particularly between 2000 and 2015. So for Lebanon, the bar is low, but it is there, and they will want to come out of this group. They will fancy their chances against North Korea because they defeated North Korea, I believe, 5-0 in qualifying for the Asian Cup. So they'll be happy that they'll be meeting up with them yet again. And if they want to come through, they very likely have to beat North Korea, or else they'll have to peg points off of either Saudi Arabia or Qatar. Moving on, we have North Korea. Their team nickname is Kolima. I had to look up what the word Kolima means, and apparently it means 1,000-mile horse. It's a horse from ancient Chinese and Far East mythology that mere mortals cannot mount. That's an interesting name for a national team nickname. Not surprising that North Korea chose something so majestic. But anyway, their record in 2018 includes 3 wins, 0 draws, and 1 loss. Those wins came against Hong Kong, Mongolia, and Chinese Taipei, so very weak opposition. Again, 0 draws, and the 1 loss against Uzbekistan. Their manager is Kim Jong-jun, not to be confused with Kim Jong-un, who is the supreme leader of North Korea, but this guy's name is Kim Jong-jun, name similarity, whose prior experience includes coaching the under-17 and under-23 assistant to the North Korean national teams of those divisions. Their prior experience in the Asian Cup includes a 4th-place semifinal finish in 1980, and then 3 group stage exits in 1992, and in each of the last 2 editions in 2011 and 2015. So just like Saudi Arabia, they've gone out in the first round in the last 2 straight tournaments. They want to improve upon that this time around. Other than this, those 4 appearances in the Asian Cup, not very much is known about North Korea. They had a weird World Cup performance in 2010, but they've sort of been silent on the international stage ever since then. Star players include Jong Il-gwan, Kim Yu-song, and Pak Kwang-ryong, all of whom are domestic-based players, playing for clubs such as April 25th, that's the name of a club. They've had dual nationals in the past between North Korea and the North Korean exodus in Japan, but this is an exclusively domestic-based club, similar to how Saudi Arabia is almost exclusively domestic as well. It's a mysterious team. Don't know much about North Korea. I don't think really most people know much about North Korea. Much as the country itself, it is a mysterious place, and probably oppressive. But anyway, that's politics. Their results against Hong Kong and Mongolia and Chinese Taipei is not really a good indicator of their quality because we're talking about among the minnows among the Asian continent here. They are the weakest team in this group. They should have a 3rd consecutive group stage exit, possibly finishing this out with 0 points, a far cry away from their neighbors to the south, in quality at least. But they can be a tough outfit. They caused problems in the 2010 World Cup, like I said, against Brazil in that opening match of Group G. I remember that distinctly. I was getting out of high school and I watched that game. So they can't be underestimated. They can finish as one of the 3rd-place teams here. Reasonable expectation would, just like Lebanon, to improve upon previous performances. A realistic goal would be round of 16. I think they might just do it, but their form in recent years is not very promising, to say the least. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment below, like, subscribe. I will see you next Friday, God willing, where we go over the final group, Group F, which contains Japan, Oman, Uzbekistan, and Turkmenistan. So, peace out.